I'm going to start with the big one, of course. It's the Irish Sun this morning, straight to the front page. Ignore the headline. And the masthead of the Irish Sun this morning is Kilbanny Flutters. And it's a badly photoshopped head of Kevin Kilbanny alongside Maura, who is going to be on Dancing on Ice. And Maura from Love Island. I had to have this explained to me. I had to have this explained to me. I'm not going to lie to you.
Why, you're not a Love Island fan?
I wasn't a Love Island fan. I didn't realise that she went viral when she said that Tyson Fury's nephew, cousin, brother. What's his first name? Tommy Fury. Tommy gave her the fanny flutters.
Yeah.
Hence the Kilbanny Flutters. Yeah. So, there you go. Kevin Kilbanny in the place of Maura's fanny. Kilbanny Flutters.
He's going to be, we were talking to him last night.
He's very excited.
Yeah.
And a bit nervous.
Oh, I'm off again with my sweaty palms. I was on stage with him last night, and as soon as he started talking about it, I remember when Aidan was doing Dancing with the Stars, every night I used to be watching him on the Sunday, and just before he'd start coming out, I was just like so nervous for him. And yeah, Kevin is going doing that on ice skates.
What was your advice for Kev?
My advice was to get practicing and get on the ice as much as possible, and at least be comfortable and not. It's just the fear of Dancing with the Stars last year. I was approached, and I was just the fear of me with my size 13 shoes absolutely capsizing some dancer and hitting the ground and being a viral sensation on Twitter was enough to keep me a million miles from it. And but yeah, imagine doing that on ice is petrifying, and it's a huge show now. Like it's ITV's biggest. It gets huge viewership.
Millions and millions and millions of people.
So yeah, we were just telling Kevin just to be nice and relaxed as possible before he goes out and do it. But he was talking last night about how he was nervous for a lot of the early part of his career.
Yeah,
when he was playing with Ireland.
Yeah,
that's when he's a brilliant soccer player and he's so comfortable, and imagine how nervous he's going to be when he has to go out and throw a 7-stone dancer up over his head on skates.
I hope it's only 7 stone. I hope that they find someone small, because like that,
why are you saying he's not overly strong?
Bringing them gently back to earth. Well, because if you drop somebody at that speed, like, you could do them serious damage.
Yeah.
But look, he's an athlete. He's a competitor.
Yeah.
His competitive instinct's going to kick in.
Oh yeah, he will. Yeah, and he's
going to give up the booze and the fast food.
Yeah, he's a popular guy.
No evidence of that last night, though.
No, he was tucking in to fish and chips before he went on the stage. So yeah, I think he's starting today. It's one of those guys, that I'll start the diet tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll start the gym tomorrow.
Yeah. That
tomorrow doesn't come for a while until panic stations kick in.
Yeah,
it needs to fit into a leotard a few weeks out.
I mean, yeah, like at least Aidan O'Mahony kind of was happy enough for all the
oh yeah, he was. Yeah, but I told him that Aidan is a selector with me with the college team, so that Aidan might meet up with him and give him a program. He does online programs. So,
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So Kevin might buy into a bit of that. So he seemed interested enough in that. So he, the core and your groin strength and groin muscles and all that has to be huge for what you're doing. So. He'll have to strengthen up that core and them areas. He hasn't done it in a while, obviously, since he's retired. So
I can't wait for this. It's going to be amazing. So the back page of the Irish Sun at 7:46 this morning. Pathetic. Manchester United need pens to beat Rochdale. Hammers thrashed. Lights out on cherries. So obviously, Man United needed penalties to beat Brian Barry Murphy's Rochdale last night, which is an amazing achievement for Rochdale. West Ham were beaten 4-0 at Oxford, and the Cherries were the victims of 3 floodlight failures. They lost 2-0 at Burton, and Sheffield United were beaten 1-0 by Sunderland. So the 4th round draw for the Carabao Cup: Everton versus Watford, Villa versus Wolves, Man City versus Southampton, Burton versus Leicester, Crawley versus Colchester, so one of them went into the 5th round, Chelsea versus Man United, Oxford versus Sunderland, and Liverpool versus Arsenal. So I like this. I like the midweek League Cup under lights. Mm-hmm. And especially as the season goes on, the games get better. Pep Guardiola wants to win trophies, and so he puts out a good team the whole way through, and everybody else is like, hang on a second, we need to put out a good team. And then some of them don't put out a good team, and they manage to get through to the latter stages. At that point they do. Yeah,
it's good. Like, in fellas that are, it's a great opportunity for fellas in these big squads now that most teams have, and obviously it's a huge chance for the minnows to have a crack off the big shots. And Brian Barry Murphy, would have been great for his boys last night against United. and they'll be desperately disappointed losing out on penalties, because if someone told you beforehand, we'll take them to penalties,
Oh yeah.
you'd be kind of like, oh,
Let's practice them this week.
Oh yeah, and I'm sure they did, in the hope that might happen. So tough on them players too at Old Trafford to step up in front of that crowd and take them penalties. So United probably always had the advantage going in there.
The Hurler of the Year shortlist is Seamus Callanan, TJ Reid and Patrick Horgan. It's hard to complain about any of them being on the list.
Yeah.
But Noel McGrath didn't make it, Brendan Maher didn't make it, Ronan Maher didn't make it, Porrick Maher didn't make it.
Yeah.
I thought Porrick Maher was like...
Oh, he was unbelievable this year, yeah. It's normally, Mark won it in 07 and Tomas won it in... maybe 04. Player of the Year.
Yeah.
But it's really hard for, like, backs have to be absolutely sensational, forwards have to be sensational, but it's easier to stand out every week as a forward. You're playing well, you're scoring goals, you're scoring points, your team is winning. You're going to be in the talk much quicker than somebody actually watching out for how well a cornerback is doing.
Yeah.
Or how well a centre back is doing. And I think there was a stat there that Porrick Maher hasn't missed a minute in this decade for Tipperary in Championship football, which
It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
for the way he plays the game, and the longevity and how strong and tough he is incredible, really.
Yeah, so the shortlist is drawn up by the All-Stars committee and members of the media, but the actual decision itself is by the players. So how does the voting work? You
get an email and
right, straight from the GPA, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, and so you just it's not, because the old PFA system used to be the PFA representative in England would go into the dressing room and go, all right lads, who's footballer of the year?
No.
And maybe they would all get back, or maybe there would be a consensus.
Yeah.
And maybe that's changed now. Maybe it's a text to each of them individually going, who's your vote for?
Yeah.
Or like, here's a Twitter poll.
Yep.
Which would probably be the easiest. I don't think there's too many people complaining about the 45 nominees. Haven't seen any hot takes just yet on who's missing from the actual hurling nominees, but the Laois goalkeeper, Enda Rowland, made it. I think he might be the only Laois nominee, so fair play to him, because they obviously had an amazing season.
Yep.
A couple of quick comments on YouTube so far. Delighted for Carty, he's earned this, but can't help wondering what it says about the fitness of our other 10s. If Carby comes on and breaks down injured, can Carty come back on? Well, it's rugby, so of course he can come back on. I think it's a smart move having Carty start. Carby hasn't played a game in ages, plus he's an ideal impact sub, and Carty's been playing a blinder for ages. It's a sign that when you pick a team based on a good performance, that everybody goes, okay, so actually there's a proper competition here. If I play well, I'm going to be rewarded.
Yeah, it's huge.
Because this game's no gimme.
No, not at all. Not when you're going playing the hosts. They're a proud nation in front of all their own people. They're going to be ravenous for us, and they'll see, how good Ireland were too, so they'll be kind of gunning.
The Irish Times this morning. Carty to start at 10 as Sexton is not risked. And there's a quick interview with Keith Earls, record breaker Earls, still in full flight, 3 World Cups on, so he's obviously our record try scorer at World Cups. And then there's just, that's the rest of the World Cup roundup. Sorry, I should have gone on to the next page to see what else they've got for us. And then it's just the All-Star nominees, and Kieran Kilkenny was doing press yesterday, so you'll see him across your papers today.
Yep. Again, the star was United so close to humiliation, which is a tough one for them if they'd lost that.
Wow. Interesting
that Madrid are set to swoop for a pair with Spurs of crisis. Obviously, Ericsson and Pochettino there are, I don't know. He doesn't seem happy this year. We've talked about that on the show already. Diarmuid's return was tough for me, Bernard Brogan. So, it was tough for me. He didn't take my exact place, but he took my place on the bus and then a place on the team. So, that was, his return was obviously tough for Bernard, who had put in a huge effort to get back this year. But he goes on to say that, Jim, he's had his glory days. It was all about winning in the end. But I'm sure that first All-Ireland final when he wasn't on the team bus must have been cool. And it's something that has to be looked at. I think they have to, I don't know what genius came up with the 26, but it has to go to 30 again. I just don't understand that you've got 30 guys, if you're on an A versus B game and you're testing your opposition all year, and it comes to the final and you're told, no, actually, you're not going on the bus, you can go up into the crowd or you can go with your family members. It's very tough on guys that aren't getting paid to go sit up there and have people kind of go, well, why are you up here? Why aren't you down there with the boys, or why aren't you with the team? And there's this thing then with management that, they're not on the 26, so they're not going to be fully tuned in, so they might switch other people off. I was always on the the basis that you just bring them and they're a part of your team, and you expect them to show a level of professionalism that they are tuned in and they're not goofing around the dressing room or switching fellas off. But it's something that has to be looked at going forward. It's a killer for guys who've trained their whole year, put everything aside, and you get into the biggest day of all and you're told to go up into the stand like every other fella.
Was it originally a move designed to try and damp down the cost of teams? Was that the original thing? And it clearly hasn't had any influence.
Well, the cost it cuts down on is 2 hotel rooms, because they're still all training, they're still all eating afterwards, they're still all getting physio. They're the costs of an inter-county team. You have these guys in, but it's something that has to be looked at and has to be and raised, and I think you just get it back to 30. I think there deserves to be 30 guys on the squad. You wouldn't have any of those issues with Bernard Brogan if he was sitting up there number 27 and the manager turns around and goes, well, we might need Bernard here in 5 minutes to go, and you put him on. And the way the game has gone squad orientation wise now, you should have as many as you can get.
Yeah. Okay. The back page of the Mirror is Real give us Ericsson and Poch. This is an interesting enough story. Madrid aiming to tie down midfielder in January and then set sights on frustrated Spurs manager. So they haven't quite set their sights on Pochettino yet. It'll be after they already get Christian Eriksen. Real Madrid want Christian Eriksen to sign a pre-contract in January and will then move for Mauricio Pochettino. So Eriksen's now in the final year of his contract and he's rejected a new deal worth 200 grand a week. So I didn't realise that he's basically available for nothing from January. You just sit it out. Yeah. I mean, if I'm Christian Eriksen, that's exactly what I'm doing. Last year, all the money would have gone to Daniel Levy. Now, all the money's going to Christian Eriksen.
Yeah.
And
no clubs let that happen.
It's mad, isn't it?
Just sell him and cash in on him.
You've got to take the money and run.
Yeah, whatever you get.
So look, I don't know what the Pochettino thing. It's saying that eventually Real will make Pochettino their number one target to replace Zidane, because obviously Zidane's getting fired. We all know. That's what happens. Never go back.
The Daily Telegraph, picture of Jack Wilshere there, looking quite shocked. So Hammer Pellegrini's men suffer a cup upset. US warn England, you could be next, is interesting. After Uruguay's shock win over Fiji, America's underdogs plan another surprise. So that'd be great to see Eddie Jones beaten by America in rugby, wouldn't it?
That would be amazing. The Guardian, back page of The Guardian is on the attack, England ready to go against the US despite 4-day turnaround. Having slapped a few spirits in Sapporo last Sunday, England's next objective is to put the KO into Kobe, Japan's most enthusiastic rugby city. So Robert Kitson pretty happy with himself about that. And Seventh Heaven, academy recruits help give Lampard home win. So Chelsea's kids are pretty good.
They are, man. Hudson-Odoi was back on the score sheet last night after scoring last Friday for the under 23s or whatever. And
Reece James, the right back, scored a goal, had an assist as well.
Tomori looked unbelievable against Liverpool last week. You've also got Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I saw him on Instagram yesterday on a bike flying, so he's not far away. So we'll have the English team nearly playing.
Things are looking up.
Yeah. The Herald, Kilkenny mindset changed for replay. Really good by Kieran Kilkenny in the Herald today, talking about, that after the drawn game against Kerry, that the management said, Kieran, we need you to score. And it just shows you how good this guy is, that he can kind of go, okay, you want me to change from my playmaking role and my point guard role out the pitch, my quarterback job to being a threat, and he goes and kicks 4 points from play.
Yeah.
And looked like...
straight from the off.
Yeah, and looked like kind of almost saying, I can do this every game if you want me to. So just tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it.
There's a bit of that, isn't there? Because there was times a couple of seasons ago when he was starting games at full forward.
Yeah.
And then he would change, and he's
really... It shows you how good he is, that he's he can really play both roles really well.
Yeah.
He can be the target man. He's got the strength. He's good in the air. He's good kicking off both feet. He's strong as an ox. So yeah, it's huge mindset for him to be able to do that. They've also touching in on Brogan as well on off the ball yesterday. Dubs Ace will talk to Gavin after some tough decisions. So that'll rumble on for a while. The
back page of the Racing Post, must try harder. Much changed England prime to step up a gear, and they've got a picture of Joe Cokanasiga, who's a major threat in the attack for England today. That game kicks off at 11:45, and the front page is Enable's a monster, but I hope we can beat her. Enable is a monster and a machine, but if any horse is capable of denying her, and Frankie Dettori historic hat-trick in the Qatar Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe, then it is Sotsas. We'll talk about that on Friday Night Racing. Dermot Weld is our special guest on Friday Night Racing. Looking forward to that. One of the biggest names in the history of Irish racing is going to join us in studio Friday afternoon from 3 o'clock for that. You got one more?
Yeah, the Daily Mail. Again, relief for Solskjaer as Nervous United need penalties to beat Rochdale. So we've talked about that, and Canlan for a 3-way fight for top honour. He's probably... It's hard to look past him.
It is. TJ was so good though.
TJ was unbelievable, and is unbelievable.
Yeah, if they win the All-Ireland this year, it's like a shoe-in for TJ, but Callan scored a goal in every game.
But he showed more than a goal in every game. He can kind of do that all the time, I think, but it was big scores and big games, and in the semi-final there was a few huge possessions he got, and there was that one, was the ball over the top, was it against Laois where he controlled it? You know, ball going over his head. It was just an amazing piece of skill and got the goal. So he had a few real standout moments which always help when you're going for Player of the Year, I think.
Yeah, I don't know, do you have the Indo?
No.
I don't have the Examiner with me either, so we might be able to stick... Oh, there's the Indo. Cardi gets the call to replace injured Sexton against Japan. It's the main headline. Leinster say no to Dubs semi-bye. So there was a suggestion that the Dublin footballers would get a bye through to the semi-final of the Leinster Football Championship, but that's not going to be the case now. There was a Leinster Council meeting yesterday, and that's unfortunately a picture of Shane Duffy, which is not good news for Ireland. Duffy injury concern for McCarthy ahead of vital Euro ties. Villa beat Brighton 3-1 last night. Aaron Connolly played really well, started the game, and really was like a one-man attack, apparently, according to the reports this morning, against Villa. But that is Shane Duffy lying in agony.
He's huge, isn't he? You'd want him out.
And then the Examiner this morning, Tommy Martin's column, always great. Should Manchester United have stuck with David Moyes after all? And then seeing the world, wiser Earls making most of Rugby World Cup experience. Straight back in the team, right? There was some kind of like, ooh, you know, like the lads played pretty well the last day, but maybe it's just about giving everybody game time. Or maybe Earls is so great that like you have to put him in the team.
Yeah, you have to put him in if he's right and if he's ready to go. He's electric and great tackler. He does everything well, you know, and he's got that bit of explosiveness and that bit of magic that he can turn something into nothing, which is very important, I think, at a World Cup, that you have players that do that. I think as Stockdale is brilliant and he's a power runner, and you know, we showed again the last day him going down the line, popping it over the fullback's head and running onto it. And I think when it comes to South Africa, they're going to have or whoever it is in that big knockout game, they're going to have someone waiting for Stockdale on that. I would say it'll be something they'll have talked about. Whereas Earls can just out of nowhere get into open field, carry the ball down the pitch and move Ireland up, which will be important in those kind of games. So yeah, get him in there and get him as much game time as possible.
And Conway was great though.
Oh, Conway is.
And he's not in the 23. I wonder, like, does Conway make the 23, or is Larmour now, because he played well, he's in the 23 automatically? There's that one position that they're all fighting for, on a position on the bench. It
is, when it comes to that, you know, you won't fully know till everybody's healthy and you're in the knockout game. That's when you can really judge a 23. I think before that, you're just kind of, it's all, are they resting guys? Is he injured? Is he a little bump and bruise? You know, this like, these aren't games of football they're playing every week. Like, they're playing rugby, so there's going to be bangs, there's going to be bruises, there's going to be dead legs, there's going to be knocks, bony bruising here and there, sore ribs that none of us will know about. You know, Colin Fuller's is in the medical team over there. He was with us with Kerry, unbelievable physio, and he'll keep all them boys. He's a great sense of calm about him. I found in the year he was in with Kerry, whenever there was injuries, he was so cool about how he'd assess them. You never felt panic off him.
Right.
And he had a sense of calm about him.
That's important.
It is, especially out here in this, because you've so many games.
And was he in your physio during games as well, or was it?
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah. No, he was. Yeah, he. We were lucky enough that we had him for a full year, and you know, he's really good. I see him on the pitch all the time with the lads, and I can see how he's, you know, obviously from having him, how he's dealing with all these bumps and bruises. And you know, as I said, look, I don't think you can judge the 23 until they pick it when everybody's fit, and it's a knockout game, and you're going for, there's no holding people, there's no resting people, it's do or die. And that's when we'll finally know who's where in this pecking order, because they are all flying, which is great, and that's what we need. And you know, there were major question marks a few months ago about, you know, where this team are at, and it looks like they're just building nicely.
Yeah, not the least Rory Best, after well, the season he had, there were definitely signs of him dropping off his own high levels, and then obviously the difficulties in the line-out in the England game. But he's starting this game again. You would expect, if we're 4 tries up at half-time, that Sean Cronin gets the full second half and that they don't use another 80 minutes of Roy Best. Talking to Ronan O'Gara yesterday, he was saying that he expects Best to kind of... he had a specific number of minutes in mind, but had predicted that, you know, they probably only wanted to use him for 50 minutes the first day, but he played 80 for whatever reason. So very individually tailored programmes that they have for all those guys. It's interesting that he does get the start again.
Yeah, I was listening to him, and I heard it as well a week ago about this kind of eight game build-up that they had to the matches, and how, you know, and that's including the group games, so who gets as many minutes will be laid out and will be talked about, and they'll have kind of like, almost like we'd have in work, a programme of works of who's going to play and what they're doing at what times. And of course, when injuries come and you bump him up and he goes down and fellas change, but they would have a set routine for who's going to play in all these games to get everybody the required amount of time. I would say a bit through science, a bit through, you know, that side of it, as well as fellas looking for form or fellas needing form. And I think they just want to get through the group and have everybody hopping off the ground is the most important thing.
In basketball, would it be, I need some more minutes here, I want to get some extra, and that's like,
you'd have
fluid enough?
Yeah, you'd have coaches, even with us with the Warriors last Saturday night. You know, it was very much, you know, Paul Dick, who'd be one of the best players in Ireland, came out of the game after 4 minutes because he was to get 2 minutes of rest between minute 4 and 6, and then he was going back in.
Right.
And it was, you know, I could see the boys had a kind of table chart.
Right.
And that was done for the first half, you know, first nearly 3 quarters. But then it comes to win the games in the melting pot, and it kind of goes out the window. Then you're just looking at, okay, who can help me the most here? Who's having a good game? Who's not having a good game? So, yeah, I think it's
those plans are great, but you've got to be flexible within them as well, right?
Have to be, yeah, because like in basketball, foul trouble can scupper your plans fairly quickly. If a guy picks up 2 or 3 fouls in a quarter, you're saying, okay, he's not going to play the second quarter at all, and I had him down to play these minutes, so who's going to fill them? And there's a whole lot going on. And you see in the NBA, there's the minutes restriction, so when guys come back from injury, they will not play more than their minutes restriction that their team has kind of drawn, that the medical team have drawn up for this guy in his return.
The being flexible about it, like there's obviously the famous example of Armagh against Tyrone. I think it's in 2003, either in the replay or what was it?
Canavan?
Yeah, no, Geezer doesn't touch the ball, and the stats man goes, "Oh, Geezer's not touching the ball," so they whip him off with like 5 or 10 minutes left to go, and Toronto kind of go, okay, all right, lads, here we go. They've just taken McGeeney off. We've got them now.
Yeah, you got to be flexible enough to realise what McGeeney means to people in the stadium, to people on the pitch.
Yeah, sometimes things mean different things.